Chronic lymphocytic leukemia is a malignancy of B cells, mature B cells. Any mature B cell is defined by a unique immunoglobulin on its surface. And the immunoglobulin is critical for the recognition of antigens. So antigen, this binding of immunoglobulins to antigen is important because it conveys messages to the interior of the cell, and these messages will then dictate the eventual outcome. Now, in chronic lymphocytic leukemia, these immunoglobulins also recognize antigens, and in fact, you get this interaction with antigen, this recognition of antigens, appears to be very critical for the development of CLL, but also the evolution of CLL. Now, what is the evidence that antigen selection is at play? Normally, you would, according to what we know from immunology, you would have many, many different immunoglobulins. And these different immunoglobulins would recognize many different things. In chronic lymphocytic leukemia, instead, we see that there are few structural variations of immunoglobulins, and that this restriction in the repertoire of the immunoglobulins is a very strong sign that something must be selecting these few structural variations. And this something is clearly antigen, because antigen is what is recognized by the immunoglobulin. So this is a very strong evidence that antigen selection is at play, but in the last 5 years or so, we also have in vivo evidence because of this remarkable efficacy of novel agents, novel drugs like ibrutinib that inhibit the interaction, inhibit signaling, so regardless of whether binding occurs, whether the immunoglobulin recognizes antigen, signaling doesn't happen. So this is a very strong, let's call it clinical evidence for antigen selection.